Good morning, everybody. This is a morning mobility routine. I'm making this video for some clients of mine that I use this parts of this routine with. It is just range of motion, mobility, getting all of our joints moving, especially spinal mobility, trouble spots, our neck, our spine, which is part of our spine, our neck is, but just kind of focusing in, also getting our fascia, that layer of uh, of tissue, of connective tissue that connects our whole body. We have lines of fascia. Some are deep, some are superficial, and they just run all along our body. And they need to be flexible, like connective tissue needs to have suppleness. And so this is just getting our connective tissue nice and moving, and also range of motion in all our joints. So it's a morning routine, or you can use it anytime, all day, but especially when you first get up in the morning, because if you're like me, you get up in the morning and moving is kind of difficult. So this will help get you moving. What you'll need for this is just holding on to like a shelf, or a chair, or a countertop. I've got this kind of high chair here that will need something to hang on to. A yoga block if you have it. If you don't have it, that's okay. And what I really like to start with is just getting our the fascia in our feet uh, nice and stretched out, and it just it releases throughout the whole body. And so if you've got like a tennis ball, do not use a golf ball. A tennis ball, if you really want something extreme, maybe a lacrosse ball, which those are very hard, or a handball. Handball is kind of hard, but a tennis ball is perfectly fine, perfectly okay. I've got kind of a hard ball here. It's a cross between a handball and a lacrosse ball in hardness, and I think I got it at TJ Maxx. And also I have this. This is from the Yamana body rolling people. You've probably seen, I know in our gym, the main gym that I work at, they have similar spiky half balls like this, but they're really soft. This has no flexibility at all. It is hard, and the spikes are a little bit rounded. This is wonderful for the feet. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but it is really wonderful for the feet. I'm sure you can get a Yamana foot thing online. I got this from years ago from a wonderful yoga teacher who also teaches Yamana body rolling, and for my feet, which I have a lot of trouble with my feet, especially lately as I age. But anyway, so there's this, but this. If you've got something like that, what we want to start with is just putting you can grab your chair, your countertop, and just put pressure on there, kind of rock it back and forth, just moving it along the parts of your foot, heel, inner foot. But as most of you probably don't have one of those, I'll show you what you need to do. You want to do this for maybe 2 minutes if you can stand it. Just add that pressure, just roll it into the arch of the foot, grab it with your toes, roll it side to side along the ball of the foot, the base of the toes, into the heel, and then make circles, just rolling it round and round. It's not going to feel good, but it's doing wonders for your body, for those trains of connective tissue, the fascia. Just getting that nice and loose in your feet. Then the other foot. Roll, roll, roll. Ah. So each foot, again, 1 or 2 minutes, and really focus, and don't just kind of, you know, really add some pressure. Don't go too fast. You just really add pressure. It's not going to feel good, but that's okay. It's getting breezy out here. I thought about adding a little music, but I thought, well, we'll listen to the birdies. I love the birdies. There's lots of birdies out here. All right, so if you have something like that, that's a great way just to start. You can even sit on the edge of your bed and do that as long as you can get enough pressure. And then other fascial lines. I'm going to set the chair aside. We have superficial front lines, superficial back lines. I got these from my Merge certification. Merge is movement based in fascia, therapeutic mobility movement based in fascia. And I hope to be offering some Merge classes too in the near future, but anyway, that's an aside. So we want to get our superficial front lines of fascia and back lines of fascia. They just run down the front of the body, and then the back ones start here, down, and then curl up under those heels. So that's why, getting the feet going first is really a nice idea. So we're going to combine the stretching of our front lines, back lines together. So we lift up onto our toes, and you can't see that, but I want you to flex your wrists backwards, like you're holding a tray up over your hand, over your head. So lift onto your toes and flex. Actually, that's extension of the wrists. Lift up, and then back onto the heels, and then you've got flexion of the wrists. I want you to really flex them down. I want you to feel that up, down the back of the body. And you see, I'm on my heels. If you need to hang on to the chair and do one hand at a time, that's okay. Just press the hips back, and then we'll just kind of flow through that. So hold your tray, wrist extension up on your tippy toes, front lines, superficial front lines, and then to the heels, T-Rex arms, back lines, front lines, reach, back lines. You want to do this maybe 5 times, 5, 6. Feels better already. We have arm lines. We have several arm lines, and they reach into our pecs. So I'm going to back up so that you can see both of my hands on the video. We want to have our arms extend, our shoulders down. We don't want to crunch up our shoulders. Let's bring the left palm up, and so we're rotating our shoulder. We're external rotation of the shoulder, palm up and kind of pointed back, and the other palm internal rotation of shoulder, so palm this way. So it's up, but this shoulder is internally rotated. Then we switch. Reach and reach. We're like wringing out, like a dish rag. We're wringing out that dish rag from the shoulder joints. Just, you can add a little bit of movement in the upper body. Just wring it out, wring it out. So arm lines. Let's move to our neck. Neck rolls. I want you to take your fists. I want you to have some nice strong fists and push your arms down. I want you to tight your belly, tight your glutes, so that you've got some tension in the body. And this will, adding that tension in the body will stabilize the rest of the body so that you won't have compensatory movement like in the torso. When you start, moving your neck, your torso won't be going around. So push those fists down, tight the belly, tight the glutes, and we're going to bring our chin, stack your head up over your shoulders and chin down. So flexion in the neck, and then turning the chin towards the armpit, and then rotating the chin upward so that the ear is towards the shoulder. Yes. And then a little neck extension, ear to shoulder, and chin to armpit, and then roll down. Chin to armpit, rotation, chin up, ear towards shoulder. Roll it back gently in extension to the other side, ear to shoulder. Rotation and down. We'll go in the other direction. So down, chin to armpit, rotation, chin lifts, ear to shoulder. Back, keep that tension in the rest of the body. Down and back to where we came from. Ear to shoulder, and then rotate down. Pause anywhere you like to, anywhere you need to, and up. And then if you've been kind of digging your fingernails into your palms like I have, you can kind of rub that out. All right, let's move that that mobility from our cervical spine, which we just did, to our T-spine, our thoracic spine, which is from that little knob at the top, at the bottom of the neck, top of the, you'll feel it, that little bony protuberance there, and then opposite of your belly button. So we want all the movement to be in the T-spine from here to here. All the movement above the belly button. It may help to sit or to kneel in your proud soccer stance in order to square the hips, because as you move your T-spine, your hips might start wanting to turn here and there, but have a seat or have a kneel in our proud soccer stance to square those hips forward, because we want all the movement to come above the belly button, just working mobility in that T-spine. So we're going to touch our shoulders, and another thing we want to avoid in this is movement up and down. We're not extending our thoracic spine by lifting our arms, but by just pressing our sternum forward. So that's our extension in thoracic spine. So just try to watch out for this and watch out for that. So we will begin. Let's bend it down first. So tight that belly button. Down. And like we did with our cervical spine, with our neck, we're going to bring that elbow towards the hip bone, the top of the hip, and then up, and then a little extension in thoracic spine, rotation, elbow towards hip, and flexion. Elbow towards hip, lift, extension, rotation, a little side flexion. You've got lots of rotation there, and then down and up. We'll go in the other direction. So flexion, this direction, right? Can't remember which direction I started. Up, extension. And remember, extension isn't pressing our belly button forward, it's pressing our sternum forward, heart forward. And back the other direction. Keeping our hips still, we don't want our hips moving. So that all that movement is right between the top of the T-spine, bottom of the T-spine. That should feel good too. So let's do a roll down. Let's get the rest of our spine going. So we're going to pour our body down the front of our body like water. It's not a forward fold as in traditional yoga. We're not going to dive our body forward, but we're just going to start with the chin and pour our body down. So pour it down. Hands just going to drop down, draw the belly in. Bend your knees as much as you'd like to bring the fingertips to the floor. And then slower than you went down, we're going to come back up. Just stacking the spine. Stack, stack, stack. So we're wanting to get articulation in the spine. All right, now we're going to do the same thing in a lateral motion. So we're going to pour ourselves down the side of our body. So head first, just like we did the front of our body. Down the side of our body. We want to watch out for rotation here. Just down the side. Bend both knees. Both knees bend. And then draw it back up. And then we'll pour our body down the front, getting that flexion in the spine. Soft those knees, bend them as much as you need to. Pour yourself down your body. This hip is going to push out. You're going to feel stretch in the top of that hip. Then your rib cage is going to get in the way of that hip bone, the other side. So we bend the knees and keep pouring ourselves down the side of our body. Doesn't matter how far you go, you just want to avoid compensating by folding in. Keep breathing, keep breathing, keep breathing. And then slowly draw yourself up. And then one more time, chin. Pour yourself down the front of your body. Like water. Bend your knees. Hang there. Very nice, very nice. Let's do our long-armed shoulder rotations. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. I won't go out of the frame of the video. So we bring our hand forward. We'll just hold let's hold the other hand in that fist. Just to add tension, tension here, so that we, again, don't compensate and don't move our torso. We want all this to be in that shoulder joint. Your range of motion may be minimal here, or it may be maximal. It's just whatever it is for you. It's not going to look like mine. And if you've had shoulder injury, you want to be very gentle, of course, in this, and just don't force anything. Don't force anything in any of this mobility routine. Your range of motion is yours. So palm is facing in, long arm up, come on, back up. And so when we get here, we turn the palm out. So we get rotation in the shoulder and then reach back. And then other way. We get up here and we rotate in the shoulder and forward. Let's do that maybe 4 times. Just to get that motion. Turning the palm, reaching back for something. I'm kind of leaning over. I'm going to tighten that up. Tighten it up. Tight the glutes, tight the belly, tight that fist. Nice. And we'll get the other side. We've got our fist nice and strong. Up. Rotation. Palm turns towards the side. We reach back with our palm. And then around and forward. Good thing to do in the mirror so that you can watch for any compensation, watching that we're not reaching back by turning at the hips or the knees. It's all happening in that shoulder joint. It's getting it mobile, getting it moving. And shake it out. All right, this is where we want to grab our chair or our countertop, hanging on to it. Move it over a little bit. Hip cars, C-A-R. Controlled articular rotation. So we want to be very slow and controlled in this, and we want it to move in that hip joint. So we're going to be on one foot, and whenever we're on one foot, to hold ourselves up for balance, we never lock our knee out to hold ourselves up with our knee. Our knee will punish us for that. So soften the knee. That's why we've got our chair to hang on. So knee soft, and we're going to bring our hip into flexion, abduction, out from the body, internal rotation of the hip. So knee rotates in, and then we push it back, close it down. So now hip is an extension, and then bring it in, release. Push back, hip and extension, external rotation, back through abduction, into flexion, and down. So let's do that, holding our fist, arm out, nice and strong, so that we can really focus the movement in the hip, nice and controlled. We'll do one more, then we'll do the other side. Other side. If you have a countertop, you just turn around. or move your chair. I'll show you from the back. Let's have our fist out, nice and strong. Flexion, abduction, internal rotation. Bring it back. Extension, you'll feel that in the glute. Release. Extension, internal rotation. Open it out. Bring it down. Flexion, abduction, internal rotation. Back. Back. External rotation. In and down. And so again, you want to maybe do 3 on each side, 3 or 4 on each side, just to get those hips moving. Let's get our lumbar spine. We worked on our cervical spine, our C spine, our T spine. How about the L spine? Lumbar spine, where a lot of people have difficulty. It can kind of get stuck. We have our sacrum and our ilium, which connects. It's a joint, but it's a flat joint like this, and it can kind of just get stuck. I don't know what the medical term for that is, but you've probably felt it at some point in your life. And also, there's just, we have a lot of pain and lack of mobility in our lumbar spine a lot, but mainly from us, from our lifestyle, from sitting and that sort of thing, and having a weak core. Core. Our core is a girdle. And so weakness here sets up for weakness here, and then sets that up for injury. So we're just going to sit here, place our hands on our knees. And this is going to be like a standing cat-cow in yoga, but we're going to keep our torso still. It's just a pelvic tuck. So we're going to tuck under and release. And when you release, you don't want to hyperextend here. So just tuck, little flexion from belly button to tailbone, and release. Tuck, release. Just getting that lumbar area moving. Tuck, release. Pelvic tilts. All right, let's move to our elbows. Our palms are facing up, and we're going to do a little bicep curl, and then down and curl, and up and curl. So we've planted our upper arms into our body because we don't want the rotation, this coming from the shoulder. So we planted this here so that the rotation is in the elbows. Up, down, elbow rotation. It's kind of a good thing to do, because we can get all sorts of elbow tweaks going on, especially if we work out kind of hard, if we lift weights, or golf, or play tennis. It's just elbows just need a little extra love sometimes. All right, so we're going to have our block. If you have a block, if you don't have a block, you can do it without a block, but I like to have a block. It's my little mouse block. It's got a little mouse on it. We're going to place the block between the inner part of our wrists, so our palms are facing up. It might take a little bit of effort to do that. And you can keep your elbows bent, and then make little soft fists here. And what holding the block here is doing, it's somewhat keeping our forearms from coming into the action, and we're focusing into the wrists. So we're just going to make little circles with the wrists only. So the forearms, we don't want the forearms going like this, right? The forearms are soft inner part of the arm facing up. So little circles in the wrists and other way. Yeah. making those circles. My my right forearm really wants to take over. Nice. And we'll set our block aside, shake that out, and then take our palms facing up again, and then just extend. Yep. Extend the wrists. Press your palms forward. I mean, maybe they just go to here. That's okay. Just extend. If you want to very gently draw it back, just to release up here, feel free to draw it back, or just kind of practice this, right? Practice that. And then let's shake it out. We'll clasp our hands together, and this is part of a little qigong routine as well. Just kind of making those figure eight, those circles with our clasped wrists. It just release the wrists. All right, that is your mobility routine, guys. Let's end with some qigong bouncing. So shake it out, bounce, bounce. Breathe. Reset. And so hopefully, just feel that. Feel the little tingle that comes after qigong bouncing. Just that nice feeling throughout your body. That's your qi. Your qi settling and moving and activating, and it's all good. That life force, prana, qi, life force, whatever you want to call it, we've got to keep it moving. That's what animates us, and so we've got to keep our bodies moving. And I hope you'll use this routine first thing in the morning. I'm doing a lot of talking, so it can be shorter. It will be shorter because you can learn the routine, you can write it down and practice it. Practice it with me a few times so that you can remember not compensating and, getting nice and strong. And then again, do it in front of a mirror so that you can watch with a compensatory movement, and just enjoy. Just keep moving, guys. Just keep moving. And thank you for joining me.